Roy in Wichita, Wichita Falls, Texas. Sorry, how are you?
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Hi. Wow. I just okay. I'm on the show.
Yep, you're live.
Yeah, I'm calling from Wichita Falls. I just moved to Texas from Japan, enjoying the wonderful Texas heat weather.
Konnichiwa. Which I don't even know what that means, but it seemed like the right thing to say.
Good. It's, if I remember correctly, if I remember Japanese, it's hello, good afternoon. Domo arigato.
Well, Kodoji, which made somebody laugh just then, I'm sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Roy. I'm having fun, and I didn't mean to do it at your expense.
Oh, no, so that's fine. I'm in the military, but I'm not going to go and say which branch just in case somebody can figure out who I am. I don't want to deal with all that.
Well, you said you're in Wichita Falls, so we can figure it out. So.
No, there's quite a few branches that go to this base. So anybody who's just able to figure out the base, there's about 3 of them out here. So
yeah.
I don't think I'm going to call the base commander and say, hey, there's a Roy there that just recently transferred from Japan, who's a godless heathen. But and Roy might not even be your name.
You called their base, actually, so that narrows it down.
Roy is a pseudonym that I go by with my friends. So
cool.
I figured I'd just use it. Anyway,
so what did you have for us today?
Well, I had a question. I just kind of recently started being kind of outspoken about being an atheist. I kind of deconverted from Christianity about 2 years ago, and I actually, your guys' show was part of the reason that I actually started to kind of get reevaluating my thoughts. So I was kind of like, as soon as I got here, I wanted to give you guys a call. I kind of got under fire from a few friends and a few people on YouTube. It was a very small video put up, but it was a debate I had with a random Christian kind of Bible thumper who happened to be my neighbor at my previous base. And he goes and he wants to have a little discussion. And then towards the end of the session, I was kind of finding it funny. I asked him to be okay to record and upload it, and he said it was okay. People who saw it were saying I was too aggressive. And all I really did was I basically pulled out Bible passages that I thought were pretty damning of the actual book, and was kind of like asking them, what do all this? You know, and apparently people thought that that's too mean or too harsh. And I wanted to know,
so Roy?
Yeah.
Did you say anything specifically negative about the person you were talking to?
If I remember in the video, I didn't say anything. Not him per se.
Okay, so you were launching objections about what the Bible has to say?
Correct.
Were they, as far as you're aware, accurate?
I was like reading directly from the Bible, and I was just like, I'd be like, you know, there's a passage that says you can't have sex with a woman who's on her period. Anybody who does, they have to be outcasted from the society. And I was reading it verbatim from the text.
Okay. Did they come back with any? Did they respond to that argument with anything of substance, or did they just say you were being mean?
No. Oh, the guy, he didn't say anything. It was more just like outside viewers were kind of saying that I was being mean. He was just kind of like, the whole time.
You won.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I care about win lose in a debate. But if you present honest criticism and the response from people watching it is that you were just being mean when you weren't actually attacking your opponent as a person, when you were instead addressing the ideas, and if they can't come back with anything substantive, that means that they had no response and they were made uncomfortable, and it was much more comforting for them to accuse you of being an ass or being mean than it was to try to defend what they believe. So chalk it up as a win and keep going.
Cool. That was kind of the thing is like, I got some people who are saying like I should do a few more videos like that, a couple little small podcasts amongst friends. Mm-hmm. They were just saying like I should dial back the aggressiveness, but
are you getting like red-faced and yelling into the camera?
No.
Then ignore them.
There's a few times where I might talk over him a little bit, just because I get kind of like riled up and I'll be like all excited. But like as soon as I catch myself doing it, I try to dial back.
I'm probably not the best person to ask about that thing.
Oh yeah, you might have inspired some of that, Matt.
There's a difference between if you watch one of the formal debates that I've done, compare that to the discussions that we've had on the show, and then compare it to when someone is on the show arguing dishonestly, when they are trying to defend what I consider to be indefensible, claiming that, for example, a rape victim might have deserved it, that this was a just punishment from a God. I'm going to fly off the handle in much the same way, not quite as witty and with as much intellectual prowess as, for example, Tim Minchin does in the Pope song. But quite frankly, if you are defending clearly immoral positions and I'm opposing them, and you continue to defend them in the face of explanations of why they're problematic and why no decent human being would sanction slavery or rape or misogyny and all that stuff, I don't care if you think that I'm being a raging asshole towards you, because it's less important that I treat you with civility than you recognize that you are supporting atrocities that need to end. I am a fan of let's have whatever conversation we can have. I can be diplomatic, I can be magnanimous, I can sit quietly while people say the most ridiculous things. But if you don't get outraged about some things, and if you're not willing to get passionate about some things, I don't need you. I don't need you being a representative of the movement. I definitely don't need you telling me how to do it. And if you're going to side with the people who are like, well, technically, I suppose he's right, but he just seems so angry about it, then I'd recommend you go read Greta Christina's book about why are you atheists so angry about things, and actually sit down and think about which is more offensive, the fact that I might use a colorful phrase or get a little irate, or that there's an entire organization that is shuffling rapist priests around from one organization to another, or that there's a whole class of people who claim to have the intellectual high ground while sanctioning a book and pointing to it as the good moral guide that supports slavery and misogyny and slaughter and all sorts of other things. You don't get to play the moral high ground card if you're supporting something like that.
Yeah.
But that's
agree.
just my thoughts,
Yeah.
I agree. I just, it's kind of like when I have like all of my friends who are either atheist or agnostic, kind of all saying like, oh, you're being too mean to the guy. Like even my girlfriend was like, the guy is like practically a kid with his mentality. You can't abuse him like that.
What's the guy's name? Because there's a guy who's practically a kid that if you're going after him and doing it kind of forcefully, I think I would enjoy it.
I don't know. I don't want to give out his name.
Oh.
He got kicked out of the military. I don't know if you want. I could tell you a short summary of the story.
Nah, we'll skip it.
No.
Okay.
I was thinking it may be, like Venom Fang X or KN or somebody like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I haven't seen your video, so I cannot give you my accurate assessment of what you actually did.
Okay. Well, I could email it to your guys' channel, and I'd just
Sure.
be like, here you go.
I can't promise that we'll take a look at it or anything else, but that's my thoughts in general.
Yeah.
If your goal, so I gave at the American Atheist 2014 convention in Salt Lake City, I gave a talk about debates and debating, and I pointed out kind of the secrets that aren't so secret about debates. One of them is to care about the truth. The other one is to care about the discussion and to respect the individuals. And one of the ways that you can respect individuals is by thinking that they are smart enough and moral enough to understand something when it's been explained to them. It is not necessarily condescending or rude to treat people as adults and expect them to behave and grasp things as rational adults should. Now, maybe you're a raging asshole. I don't know. But considering there are people who think that of me on some occasions, and on other occasions they think I have the patience of a saint, I try to
For the same interaction.
For the same interaction, by the way. We'll get email about the exact same call, and some people, is the best call ever, is the worst call ever. So take all the feedback and just, have some empathy, trying to figure out how you'd feel if you were in that position. But don't project too much because that person isn't you.
Right.
Anyway, that's all I got.
I appreciate this. So, you guys, excuse me, enjoy the rest of the day. Maybe if I get a chance, I wouldn't mind coming out to Austin and seeing you guys with a live show sometime.
Well, there's a whole bunch of people here this week who you could have been with, but you pissed it away.
Oh, right.
Thanks, Roy.
All right, well, you guys enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks. Bye.